And these are all the repositories we have in one of the companies. And let me show you guys, right, this one. So, okay, these are all the people working. This is how many commits a certain person has done. Now, if you go to Insights and then you click on Network, you're going to see a network diagram, which shows you all the branches and all the work getting done, right? Right. You see all this network of, wires, or to be more precise, branches, right? All of these are different branches, right? Like this is a different branch, right? And this is a different branch, right? This is a different branch. This green line is a different branch. This blue line is a different branch. This is a different branch, right? So on. And all of these, this is a different branch, different branch, different branch here, different branch here. Wherever you see a tag like this, that's a branch. All right. Now, you need to learn the concept of branching when you are working on a project. When you're working on a project where there are multiple people contributing, all right? So, I mean, technically speaking, that's pretty much you know, uh, every production level project, all right? There are always multiple people working on it. You won't necessarily need it right now as a student if you are working on a project that only you would be working on, all right? Because in that case, you can get everything done with a single branch. For instance, let me show it to you guys. For instance, we have this GitHub repository for web services training, right? So if I go here, you're going to find something, relatively simplistic, right? You're going to see just one line, right? Because there's just one branch that is main, right? There's just one branch main because I am the only one contributing, right? I'm the only one sending the code to GitHub, right? Are you guys familiar with the concept of commits? Give me a yes if you're familiar with the concept of commits. Right. All right. All right. Pretty much everyone. Okay. All right. So all of these are different commits, right? That I push every day, right? From um, from my account, right? Um, Now this network is really simple because there is just one branch. Whereas if you see this, if multiple people are working, this is what the network looks like. All right. This is literally different versions of code. Right. Every commit makes a different version of code. Right. So whenever you make a commit, you're making a different version. Right. And the history of that version, is gonna be maintained forever. Now, if I literally go here, I can see a commit from, I don't know, this must be June 2019. Yeah, June 2019. Right. So from June 2019, I can literally see each and every bit of code contributed. Right. And this is obviously relatively more complicated because there are many different ways to manage the project. Right. But we won't get into branching and all of that stuff today, right? But just letting you know, this is what a branch is. So if you and I are working on a project, you would keep working on your branch, I would keep working on my branch, and whenever we are done with our piece of code, we would get that branch merged into a master branch. All right, master, staging, or development, again, it depends what kind of conventions you follow in your project, but generally speaking, everyone works on their own branch, right? And once they're done with their work, they get their work merged into the master branch, right? Master branch is basically the master copy of the entire thing. Any questions or any doubts here?
Thank you. And one more question. When you want to push the request, if there is some pool before that, it shows you error. Yes.
That's right. Um,
Okay.
yeah, won't go into detail of that because I would really have to go into concepts for why that happens. But
Yeah, I
i-
understand.
if
Yeah,
you
thank
really
you.
want,
That's the.
no problem. I'm gonna send you guys a video. It's really nice resource. If if you're someone who would like to jump into more detail of these things, good for ages four and up. Right? I'm sending you guys a link of this video. It really contains all of the concepts, everything in very detail. The name of the video
Git
is
for
Git
ages
for
4
Ages
and
4
up.
and Up.
So
So
if
if you're
you
4 years
are
old or more, you can watch the video. It's for you, right? Um, okay, I'm gonna close this, right? And I'm gonna start recording here. All right. Anyone has any question or any doubts so far? Okay. Question for you guys. Can I use Git without GitHub or Bitbucket or GitLab? Can I use Git without a Git server? Give me a yes if you think the answer is yes. Can I use Git without GitHub, Bitbucket, or GitLab? Give me a yes if you think yes. Give me a no if you think no.
You can install your own local server, Git server.
Your own local Git server, right? Let's see. We have two yes, two no so far. That's it. Only four responses. Come on, guys. Give it a try. Three yes, two no. Four yes, two no.
I send in chat.
Right. I have an extra yes in the chat. So that makes it six yes, two no's, seven yes, two no's. Okay. So the question is, can you use Git without using any Git server, right? Uh, the answer is yes, right? What happens in that case is that you have your own computer, right? And you would install Git, you would initialize your project on Git on your computer, and you would keep using it on your system. So it would maintain the different versions, of your project. But as you would not be using any server, you would not be communicating here at all, right? And that means no one else would ever have access to your project, right? Everything would remain on your local system, and there would be no communication between your computer and the server. And that would mean that no one else would be able to contribute or share your project, right? Which kind of takes away a lot of benefits from Git. But if you just want to maintain different version on your local computer for yourself, yes, it is possible to use Git without GitHub or anything, right? Okay. Um, Now that we understand that, I'm gonna go back here, right? Okay. And let's see from the very beginning. And before we even jump on that, when we would be deploying, what are the things we are gonna need? We are gonna need our Node.js server, right? We need to run our Express. right? Express application, and we need to have our database, right? So there are two things that we need to do. We need to have an Express application running, and we need to have a MySQL database running, right? And once we have both, then we need to make sure that there is a connection between our application and our database, right? Um, right. Can anyone please share a project with us which has both front end and back end? I think I already received one yesterday. Okay, all right. Can someone please share a project which has a working front end and a working back end? It could be in any stage, doesn't matter. Let me know in the chat if you are packaging it and sending it. If not, I'll find something. It's all right. It's perfectly fine. It could be anything, doesn't matter. I just want something which has a front end and which has a back end.
Quick question, Akash.
Yeah. Okay.
If we do the wireframe in Balsamic, we
Mhm.
have to share the link with you. Let's say
Um,
In Leah, we have to upload what the link.
you can send me a link or you can upload a PDF. It's possible to download a PDF of all the
This is what I'm
wireframes.
trying to find. It I cannot find any link.
Export command. All right, let's discuss that at the end. I'll show you guys where the command is to export
Okay.
everything in a
Okay.
PDF, right?
Okay.
But if the link is shareable, I'm fine with the link too. While we get the project, I'm just gonna quickly tell you guys what kind of options you have to deploy your application. Um, so Heroku is an option which really simplifies everything for you, right? It does a lot of things that, ideally people have to do manually, but Heroku takes care of those things. So it makes it easier to deploy your application. But otherwise, you can get a virtual server from pretty much anywhere, right? A virtual server, ideally Ubuntu, but it could be CentOS or any other server either, right? But you're not gonna see a lot of Windows servers when it comes to deploying Node.js. You're not gonna see Mac servers a lot. It's mostly going to be Linux, right? It's mostly going to be Linux as an operating system, and even then, don't imagine um, Linux with a GUI, right? It's gonna be Linux, but it's only gonna be command line. You can install more stuff if you want, but that usually, we don't do that because it slows down the entire server and everything is done from command line, right? So just imagine a black and white terminal, which would pretty much be your entire operating system, right? And you can get these virtual servers from Google Cloud Platform, right? Google Cloud Platform, or even AWS, right? And there are just many other companies, right? In that case, you take an entire operating system and then you install and do whatever you want to do, right? And the company does not manage anything for you. They just provide you a system and maybe with an operating system, right? So a computer with operating system is all you get. But with Heroku, most of the things are managed, right? They manage the servers, they manage the database for you and all of that stuff. All right, I have got the server here. All right, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be sending this project to everyone, all right? Just to make sure you stay with me and there's no confusion, I'm sending the same project to everyone. Right, it's gonna be important, guys, that you keep doing everything side by side. I'll be doing things in two steps. First, I'll obviously be showing it to you guys, and I would be explaining things. Do not focus on doing things at that time. All right. I'm expecting that when I'm showing it to you guys and when I'm explaining, you would pay attention to the screen where I would be showing what needs to be done. And then I'll give you time to do the exact same thing on your system. Right. Then keep doing things. I'll make sure no one's left behind. Right. But if there's a single step that, uh, you know, uh, you're not with me, it's going to be really hard to follow because there's going to be a number of steps that we need to follow, right? So please download this project, right? I'm going to show it to you guys what I'm doing. I'm going to expand this project, all right? And um, yeah, we have this front end application and we have a DB app here, right? That's what we are interested in, right? So just download the project, right? And once you download it, expand the files in the project. Right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up. All right. As of now, we would be only deploying the backend side of things. All right. And I have opened up the backend folder, right, in my Visual Studio Code. Again, I have opened only the backend folder, not day 4 um, DB app folder. Right. Now, before we start deploying, let's check if the project is working fine or on our local system. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to db.js. I'm going to update this connection as per my user password and database and all of that stuff. All right. Um,
Excuse
so
me, Akash.
yeah,
What you uploaded, it's for me, it's a picture there.
it's if you click on it, it doesn't download a folder for you, a zip
No,
folder.
it's download the PNG.
That's
This weird.
super weird.
It's 15 kilobyte, just
Yeah,
15 kilobyte.
yeah, that's what it shows. Me too. How can I share it to you? Uh, I can send it. I can upload it on Leah, I guess.
It should be fine to share even here in the chat. I remember
Yeah.
we share files.
Anyone else facing the same problem? No. Okay. How do we share this project with you? Shouldn't be a big deal.
Can create in GitHub.
I
Push it
can.
GitHub.
Yeah, or I can send it to you on Mio. Let me quickly log in.
You will send it on Leah.
I can send it on Leah. I can send it on Teams. I think that would be way faster.
Yeah, Teams or Leah. So
Wait a minute. Let me try Microsoft Teams.
okay.
Can you send me a quick message on Teams? All right, I've sent you the project. All right, see if this works. For everyone else, all right, let's try to run this project first on the local system just to make sure everything's working for us. So I'm going to go to terminal, a new terminal open up, right? And the first thing I need to do is install the node modules, right? So I'm going to do npm install here, right? Let's see, refresh. It has downloaded the node modules for us, right? So all good. This user looks good, password looks good. I just need to make sure superhero DB is something that I have. So I'm gonna go to Workbench. Oh, I already have that DB2, right? So everything looks good. And now I'm gonna run npm start, right? And to make sure everything's working fine, I'm gonna go to Postman and I'm gonna go to get request. Oh, not products, heroes. Right, it's saying there's an error. Let's see. Right, that's because of the spelling of heroes, right? So I'm just gonna change those, click here, and it's working fine, all right? So make sure this project is working fine on your local system. There are a few things you would have to check, right? I'm actually gonna type in what are the things you need to check or do, right? npm install, and make sure you have your backend folder, backend project opened up, right? Make sure you're doing all of this in DB app, right? You need to do npm install, um, update your DB credentials in db.js. Make sure you have database created in Workbench, right? Do check if you have the database, right? Then run npm start in the project, right? Test using Postman. If the project is working fine on your system, give me a yes, right? So far, we are only running the backend. And please don't forget the spelling of heroes is Heros in this case, all right? You know what? I'm going to fix this. I'm just going to do Heroes, right? I'm going to fix the spelling, right? Not working. Oh, I have to restart the server because I did npm start, right? Fix the spelling of heroes on line 19 of app.js. Someone said not Nodemon. You can run it with Nodemon. That's better, I guess. It would restart the server for you, right? It's perfectly fine to run the server using Nodemon and not npm start. It's perfectly fine. Same thing. All right. So if your project is working on your local system, give me a yes. Someone sent me error. It says, well, this is, um, okay, can you please send me the entire error? This doesn't seem like the entire error to me. Is it possible for you to please? Okay, it says module not found. I'm still gonna need more information because I need to know which module that it's looking for that's not found. Right, so cannot find module express. Don't forget to run npm install, right? Because if express is not found, that probably means that because express is in node modules, right? It comes from package JSON. And if that's not found, most likely, either you didn't run npm install or you didn't run it in the right folder, right? Make sure you run it where you have package.json. And if you did run it in in the main folder, check if you have the folder node modules.
I have a request
Yep.
to you or to anybody. If anybody can send me the script for the database to create the database, because I created in Windows. Right now I'm in Linux, so I don't
Right.
have the script. If anybody just send me that one.
Sure. Right. Zara, correct me if I'm wrong, but is it this script that needs to be run for the database? Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna create a new file here, right? I'm gonna call this schema.sql, right? And I'm gonna copy paste everything here. And I am sending all of you right? What you need to run to create the database. Right, I reinstalled it and it works. Yeah, most likely you did npm install in a wrong folder before. Um, that's a likelihood, but could be something else too. Someone said, so I got DB connection, but I get welcome to Express. You get welcome to Express. Okay, you need to test it in Postman. If you are going to if you're going to localhost 3000, it is going to show you welcome to Express, but you need to test if your APIs are working fine or not. All right, we have 8 people who are done. All right, someone said 404. Don't forget to update the spelling here on line number 19 of app.js, right? Before I think it was HEROS. Don't forget to fix this. Right. Anyone facing any issue or any problem? Right. I'm gonna clear this feedback. Is there anyone who wants me to wait? Anyone not done to this point?
Yes, me.
Okay. They're gonna wait for a few more minutes. In the meanwhile, I would suggest you read the blog post that I sent you, right? I would suggest you, give it a quick read. So someone sent a question, and the question is for Heroku, do I need to select Node.js as the language? We don't need to do anything as of now. We have created the account, and when we would push the project to Heroku, it's going to identify automatically what kind of project it is.
Quick help.
Yeah.
So after connecting to the database, actually, I run the backend. What I have to do?
Mhm. Okay, is your backend running?
Yes,
Just test it on Postman. First of all, make sure in app.js you fix
I
you fix
fixed
the
it.
spelling of
Yes,
errors.
yes.
Just test it on Postman and see if it's working fine.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay, if you're done with this, I have sent the link in the chat. Right, I'm sending it to you guys again. This is the blog post that I'm using. So if you're behind a little bit or if you're ahead of me, you can have a look at it, right? You can read the next steps and maybe even move ahead if you want.
Yeah, it's working on both.
All right. Okay, all good. So let's see what's next. Download and install Heroku. All right. Now we need to install the command line version, the CLI command line interface of Heroku. All right. So you're gonna find the link here. Again, I have this blog post opened up on the side. All right. Now I'm gonna click here. Right. It's gonna open up Heroku CLI, and you're gonna see there are different options for different operating system. So for Mac, you need to run this. For Windows, you can install, 64-bit or 32-bit. And for Ubuntu, you have a command too. All right. So you need to install Heroku on your system.
Sorry, Akash. After
Yeah.
we open the link, Where do we have to go?
Let me send the link to you guys.
You sent me. Oh no, this is not for. Uh, this in, let's say in Linux, we will run this command where and under which directory.
So directly doesn't matter. In this case,
Okay.
neither in Mac nor on Ubuntu. And you would run these commands on your terminal.
Oh, never mind the directory, which directory you are in.
Yeah, directly doesn't matter. So
Okay.
for instance, I'm just gonna copy this command. You can run it here. I'm gonna shut down this server on my local system, and you could simply run this command here. Right? Not gonna work on my system because I'm on secondary. Um, I'm on
Okay.
secondary account, but it should work on your system.
Okay. Thank you.
Someone said, I got some error, Git is unavailable. You're using Mac OS 11.2. We do not provide support for this pre-release version. You will encounter build failures with some formulas. Um, okay, I see what might be happening. Right, right. I'm talking to the person who sent the error. Can you please go to the terminal and do git space dash git space dash dash version? I'm sending the command to you personally in the chat. Okay, is that the error you get when you do git dash dash version? The error that you sent me?
Yes, yes, this is my error.
Okay, so what you would have to do is you would have to install command line tools for Mac OS, or you could simply install Xcode, right?
Okay,
Search for installation
okay.
of Xcode. It should install all the command line tools for you on your Mac OS.
Okay.
Right. So to check if your Heroku has been installed fine or not, what I want you to do is I want you to run this command Heroku dash dash help. Heroku dash dash help, right? Just make sure it doesn't give you an error. To be more precise, it should be right. Run this command on your terminal and see it gives you some helping information. Okay. All right, some of you might have to close the terminal and open it up again. See if that fixes the problem. I've seen 3 people face that problem. Yes, you need to install Heroku and then you need to run Heroku space dash dash help. Okay. Okay, someone said I closed and opened and got the same error. Windows issue. Okay, let me quickly Google and see.
Perfect in Linux.
Perfect in Linux, huh? Heroku is not recognizable as the name of the commandlet. Okay, someone said close VS Code, it worked. So if you have terminal open in VS Code, it worked for someone if they shut down the entire VS and reopened it. Okay, works. So it worked for 2 people. Just restart the VS Code. All right, if your Heroku space dash dash help is working, give me a yes, right? If your Heroku space dash dash help is working, give me a yes. It's working for 6 people so far. All right, 8 people. Okay, so if that's working for you, run this command Heroku space login on your command line. So what we need to do is we need to log in on Heroku, but from our command line, right? So that it has access to our account that we just created. Run Heroku space login, right? It's gonna take you to a browser and it's gonna ask you to log in. It's gonna say press any key to open up the browser. You're gonna press any key. It's gonna open up, your browser, and then it's gonna ask you to log in. Okay, someone said warning dash dash help is not a Heroku command. Yeah, I think you have too many. Okay, you need to type in the command. No, you haven't forgotten to install anything. You just retype it. I think you have maybe have too many dashes or one less dash in help. It's Heroku space dash dash help. Right, we have 9 people who are done. All right, once you're done with that, do a Heroku login to log in into our Heroku account from the command line. All right, before we move ahead, let's take a quick break. All right, let's get back by 10:40 a.m. Um, and guys, usually it's okay if you guys are a few minutes late here and there and all of that. But again, today we would be doing everything step by step. And I am gonna start right at 10:40 a.m. Right? This time I would be starting right at 10:40 a.m. So please make sure you are on your desk by 10:40 a.m. Right? Because even if you miss one single step, it might get difficult for you to, follow up. All right. So back at exact 10:40 a.m. All right. Let's do a quick overview. So what have we done so far? We have a project on our system. We have created an account on Heroku, and we have downloaded Heroku command line interface on our system, and we have logged in using our credentials, all right? So our command line now has access to our Heroku account, all right? Okay, let's see what's next. Set up Git and create a Heroku app. Yeah, yeah. Can you send me the entire error? Not able to copy it? Maybe a screenshot? Look, warning or something. Did you press any key to open the browser to log in? Q to quit, opening browser at this. You know what? Yeah, you see where it says opening browser to, and then it shows you the link. You can here it says opening browser to, and then it also shows you the link, right? You can actually copy this link in your browser window. You're not able to copy it?
Just
Should
select
be.
it and comment C. Maybe you cannot do right click, but if you select it and comment C, you can. Yeah,
Yeah.
Control C.
CMD copy text. It says it should work. Okay, you know what? It's gonna get fixed automatically if you open up the command line using as an administrator. So you remember as an yeah, as an administrator. Same error. Uh,
You highlight it and you click on the C icon on top, and it'll give you option to edit copy. You can't even highlight it.
and okay, Windows people, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is CMD, right?
Correct.
PowerShell is a little different.
Yes.
Okay, Zard,
PowerShell is bluish.
yeah, I tried on PowerShell and open it up as an administrator and see if that makes a difference. All right, why don't you share your screen with us? Wait a minute. Yeah, yeah, it
Oh,
says you're logged in, you're good. Yeah, go back to your terminal. Open up a new. It's fine, but it should actually stop showing you that. Open up a new window. Click on. No. You just click on plus. Open up a new terminal window.
can you show one more time your CMD? Yeah. Ah, okay, it's just waiting for login. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Right. Do Heroku login here. Yeah. All right. Copy this link now. Or you can simply do a control click. You can control click. Yeah. Open. There you go. Log in. It's logged in. Let's go back to VS Code. There you go. No problem.
Akash, when I did login, I pressed the button like login invalid request. Give me invalid request.
Sorry, say that again.
When I moved to the login page,
Yeah.
and I click login, give
Mhm.
me login request. It's normal? No?
It says login request.
Invalid request.
Login request invalid. No, that's not normal. Shouldn't happen. And what do you see on your command line?
Okay. My command line. uh, Error timeout. Heroku waiting for login. Because I didn't press it. I went there before the break and I quit. Is it possible that it's like invalid because it's timeout?
No, okay, just check this. If you do Heroku, who am I? Does it show you your email?
No, it's give me error, same error.
Yeah, you
Waiting
would have to do
Heroku.
Heroku login again.
Why he mentioned waiting Heroku update available from 7.49.0 to 7.51.0. I have version 7.49, not 5.1.
Shouldn't be a problem. It's a very small difference.
So what I have to do now, log in again.
Just do Heroku login again.
I did it. The same message that press any key.
Yeah.
Okay. It's open. And yeah, the login page is open, email and password.
All right, so let's log in.
How I can log in? Which account?
Oh, you didn't create an account at the beginning of the class?
No.
Yeah, that's the first thing we did. So you need to sign up. You need to sign up with a new account on that page. Right. So before you do,
open Heroku page and sign there.
Yeah. Go to Heroku. Just Google Heroku. Go to their homepage.
Okay.
Sign up. Create a new account. And once you are done with it, then do a Heroku login. Right. And for everyone else, please do a Heroku. Who am I? All right. WHOAMI without a space. All right. And then make sure you get your email in response. And if you do, give me a yes. I just want to make sure everyone's logged in. Right. Heroku, who am I?
But it works that login as an email.
Say that again?
But it's written that login is done, and after that it's login as an email address.
Yeah. So if you get that, you should be fine. This is just to check. Heroku, who am I? This command is just to verify, just to check that you successfully logged in. All right, we have 6 people for whom it's working. Guys, please run Heroku, who am I on your command line and make sure you give me a yes if it gives you back your email.
For primary development language, shall we put Node.js?
Is it asking you for to
primary
select one?
development language.
Okay, if it's asking select Node.js, weird, it didn't ask me.
Now this is when I'm signing up. Okay, just give me that. I have an account. This is what I think. So just I have to reset my password. I think I have an account there. Okay.
All right. In the meanwhile, everyone go to your Heroku account on the browser, right? And if you see so far, I do not have any application here, right? There's no application here. I'm showing this to you because soon we would be creating one from the command line, and we would come check here to see if the application has been created, right? So when you open your Heroku dashboard, you're gonna see no command, no application here. All right. And what we are gonna do next is we are gonna create a new Git repository, right? This person is doing change directory and then, going to the directory of the project, but we are already in there, right? We are already in DB app. Just gonna clear this, right? So what you need to do is you need to initialize a new Git repository, all right? So we are gonna do git init, right? Init is initialize, right? This is gonna initialize a new Git repository. It says initialized empty Git repository in whatever the folder is. Then the next thing we are gonna do is git add space dot. All right, git add space dot. This means, hey, add all the files that are in this repository. All right, add all the files that are in this Git repository. All right, so git space add space dot. It's gonna add all the files. He didn't add a git ignore file, did he? Nope. Anyway. So once you have added all the files, you can check, you can do a git status, and it's gonna show you that, hey, these are the new files that I've added, all right? And then you need to do a commit, git commit space dash m space your message, your commit message. So here we can say initial commit, right? And we're gonna make the commit. And now when we do git status, right, it's gonna say on branch, nothing to commit, working tree clean. All right, so you need to do a git init to initialize the repository, git add to add all the files that we want to commit, and then a git commit to actually make a commit. All right, this should be very similar to um, this should be very similar to what you guys do on IDE. Right, this time we are just using commands. Okay, someone said git. The term git is not recognized as a name of the commandlet, script, or file program, and spelling of the name. Okay, if you're getting an error in which it says the term git is not recognized as the name of the command and all of that, you need to install git on your system, right? You need to install git on your system, right? Install git. So they have instructions for Linux, they have instructions for Mac OS, and they have instructions for Windows too. Right, I'm gonna send you guys this link. You need to install Git if you do not have it on your system already.
So we will skip first line from that, uh, which is cd node.js dash express, right?
Yeah, we are not going to run this, and even running this would not make sense if you do not have Git, right? So
Yeah,
if
for sure.
yeah, so you directly need to run this in your backend project, Git init, and if it says, hey, you do not have Git, you need to install it.
Okay.
That's not a problem. Yeah, that's not a problem. If you do a Git log, and if it shows you initial commit, give me a yes. All right. if you're able to run the command git log, git space log, and if you see your initial commit, give me a yes. Okay, now that's because I ran these commands here, which you haven't run yet, right? Um, git init, git add space dot, and then git commit dash m initial commit. Right, I have 2 yes in reactions, 1 yes in message. So 3 people are done with this.
So the concept, we will deploy all this in Heroku connecting with GitHub, right?
Um, we won't be connecting with GitHub. We would be using Git though, right?
Okay.
You can use GitHub to deploy on Heroku though. That's another way to do it.
Which is like you will create the whole, let's say, repository there in the GitHub, then you will connect it to Heroku.
That's right. So far we would be using, we would be creating a Git repository on our local system, and we would be pushing all of our code to Heroku, right? We would not be pushing our code to GitHub. If you want to do that, you can do that too.
I installed Git, but I'm still getting the same message. That it's
Again, don't
not
forget
recognized.
if you install anything, don't forget to restart your terminal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is always going to be a thing. Whenever you install something, your terminal needs to reload to actually pick up everything in that path.
Also VS Code too.
I guess, yeah, VS Code too. So if you have your terminal open in VS Code, I think it would be safe to restart your VS Code too. So we have 5 people so far for whom git space log command is working and for whom it's showing initial commit. Right now it's showing us that we have made 1 commit and the comment on that commit is initial commit.
Excuse me, for me it says unable to auto-detect email address.
Sorry, say that again.
Fatal error, unable to
Mhm.
auto-detect email address.
And you see this error when you run which command?
The commit.
Okay, so if this is the first time, if you are using Git, um, that
Yes.
shouldn't be a fatal command. But okay, what happens when you do a Git log? Does it show you anything?
Let me check. Okay. Log. It just says logged in, nothing more.
When you do a Git log, Git
I
space
just
log.
get log and get. space log. It says your current branch master doesn't have any commits yet.
Doesn't have any comments yet. Okay. So if this is the first time, if you have installed Git, you would have to provide your configuration, which is your email and everything. Git config email.
It says please tell me who you are and run git config global user email and whatever. Yeah, so what email address I should provide for that?
You can use any email address. It has nothing to do with Heroku.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so it's yeah, if it's showing you already the command you need to run, just set your name and email using those commands
Okay.
and you should be fine.
Okay. Okay, I think it's set git log. Your current branch master doesn't have any commit yet. It's the same.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
now
an
you would have
error.
to make commit again. Now you would have to make
Okay.
the commit.
Okay. Um, Get commit initial commit. Yes.
Git space commit space -m initial commit. Yeah.
Okay. And yes, create mode. Everything is done. I think there is
Yeah.
no error.
Try.
Okay.
Okay. And what if you do a git space log?
Log. Oh, good. It says commit number and my email and my date. Everything is done. Initial commit.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
All good. No problem. Anyone else facing any other problem? Right. We have 9 people. Okay, I'm going to clear this feedback. Is there anyone who wants me to wait? All right, we are going to go back to our terminal again. All right, so far we have created a new Git repository and we have created one commit. All right, now we are going to create a new Heroku application. All right, and for that we are going to run Heroku space create and we are going to name our application. Let's say my dash DB app. Right, and I'm going to run this. It says my dash DB app is already taken. So I'm just going to append my, let's say dot dash AKS. You can name it whatever you want. All right. You can name it whatever you want. So I've created a new Heroku app, right? And if I go to my browser, open up Heroku dashboard and refresh, it should show you an application with that name. All right, so if you are able to do Heroku create space name of your application, and if you're able to see your Heroku application in the dashboard, give me a yes. right? If you're able to do Heroku create and actually create an application, and if you see that application in Heroku, give me a yes. 7 people so far. All right, this is the command Heroku space create space name of the application.
Sorry, can I share my screen?
Sure. What exactly is the problem that you're facing?
I haven't the commitment that I made in the um, logged in page in Heroku.
Oh, you can
It
close
says
this. You can
okay,
close this.
okay, and
Just go to
what should I?
Heroku and log in. Yeah, there you go.
Yes, yeah, I have it. Okay, thank you.
Right, no problem. All right. So if you see your application, right now we have created a new Heroku application. All right. And now what we are going to do, all right, don't look at these steps. All right. This is if you do not provide a name, then you have to rename, etc., etc. But here we are. Now do check git remote dash v, right? Now, if you go to your terminal and if you do git remote space dash v, right, you should be able to see a Heroku link here. Oh, I think it's already recording, no? Oh, yeah.
No,
Resume.
not
Yeah,
yet.
sorry about that. Okay. So now if you do git space remote space dash v, right, it should show you the git repository for Heroku. Right, I'm going to clear the feedback from in here. Okay, so what's happening here? If you guys, right, stop typing. I'm gonna give you guys a few more minutes later on, all right? But there's something important here for you to understand. So if you guys remember, I was mentioning that, hey, there are Git servers and you have Git on your local system. Now, so far, everything that we have is on our local system, all right? But in this case, in our this very specific case, we would have a Git server, all right? And that server is being provided by Heroku itself, right? The server, Git server is provided by Heroku itself. It does not look like GitHub or GitLab or Bitbucket. All right, it does not look like it. But what Heroku is going to do is Heroku is going to keep a copy of our Git repository on their own servers. All right. And the purpose of it isn't going to be shared to share code. The purpose of that is going to be for Heroku to be able to deploy applications. All right. So that's the reason when you are doing git remote dash v, you see a link of Heroku, a Git repository of Heroku. All right. And we would be pushing data to this Git repository now. And whenever we push data to Heroku, it's going to deploy everything for us. All right. So if this command git space remote space dash v is working for you, give me a yes, right? And if it shows you a Git repository, link to a Git repository, give me a yes.
Sorry, can you go back to the design, to the graph you have? Okay, so where does
Yeah.
the Heroku come here? Oh, here. Okay, so that's the Git server here.
So Heroku is also a Git server. So you can have more than one Git server. All right. So it's very possible that you would manage your code on GitHub, but whenever you are done with a certain piece of code that you want to deploy, you would say, hey, I have fetched everything from GitHub And now I'm going to push all of that to Heroku to get deployed. All right. So in this specific scenario, we have only one server here, right? We are doing only this part, but in other scenarios, you can have GitHub and Heroku too, right? So how do I explain the reasoning? So
What
let's say if I was
what is
Heroku.
the reason behind it? I mean, is this it would be like a just another site or another server? Maybe that's dev and the other one is prod type of thing.
So they need to deploy your project, right? Now to do that, they're gonna need your code, right? So people at Heroku thought, hey, we need the code to be deployed. Now, one way always is for you to go there, drag and drop your code and everything. All right. But they were like, hey, is there an easier way to do it? People could just deploy everything with one single command. And people at Heroku say, hey, why most of the projects are managed in Git, right? So why don't we manage a Git server ourselves, all right, just for deployments? So that people would be able to send the code to our servers. We won't give them a good interface like GitHub or anything. All right. We are just gonna keep that server to ourselves. And we once, Manny pushes his code, we are gonna receive it on our server and we're gonna use that code to deploy the application. That's it. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I just can't pinpoint the reason behind it. Why use Heroku and not just GitHub?
Because two different purposes.
Yeah,
Although both are Git servers, the goal is very different.
right.
GitHub is a GitHub server that is built keeping code sharing in mind. All of these GitHub servers says, hey, we have built this amazing platform where you can push your code and we help you share your code, right? Whereas Heroku did not build a Git server for that purpose. They were like, hey, we are not building another GitHub. All right, we have created a Git server for our own self to which you can push code, and we are going to use your code to deploy it. All
Okay.
right. So Git server for Heroku is for deployment purposes. Like you're not going to push code to Heroku so that you are able to share it with other people. No. If you want to share code with your teammate or with, the rest of your team, you're going to use, GitHub code sharing servers,
Okay.
right? And it's easy to create Git servers. Like, I can create one within a few days, let's say. It's just that GitHub doesn't only has Git server, but it also provides you a good interface. It also provides you a nice website. It also provides you many additional features, which Heroku would not, because this is not Heroku's business. Heroku says we do deployment, and to make that deployment easier, we are going to have a Git server, right? But we are not going to provide you with all the fancy features, right?
So here the
Mhm.
question is, since we can connect any GitHub, let's say, repository or project to Heroku to be deployed, why we need to create like our own Git server, since we can get all this there in GitHub and just connect this to Heroku.
Right. Yes. So although I said I can create my own Git server, there's no need to do that because these platforms provide you that feature for free, right? So I mean,
Yeah.
there's no need to do it unless you want to become a platform like GitHub. You know,
Okay.
um, there is no need to create your own Git server to maintain everything. Huge companies would do that if they have, security issues.
Okay.
Huge companies would be like, hey, we don't want to push our code to GitHub because, then GitHub would have our code, right? Now, this
Yeah.
is not a concern for you or me. We are small companies. We are happy with paying $10 a month and get all of that. But if I'm SAP, if I'm Microsoft, if I'm Adobe, I'm going to be very concerned about it because I do not want my code to be available to anyone outside the company, right? So
Okay.
in those kind of cases, those companies would have their own versions of, Git servers, their own versions of GitHub because they don't trust any other company,
Okay.
right? So now we have Heroku added as a remote server, all right? And now we are going to push our code to Heroku, all right? To do that, we are going to run this command git push Heroku master, all right? Git, this is we are saying, hey git, push my code, all right, to Heroku, all right, on the master branch, right? And we are using only one branch, right? So that's not a confusion for us, but we are saying this is a git command. We are asking git to push the code on our local system to Heroku. So we are sending our code to Heroku, right? And we are sending all of our code on the master branch. So I'm just gonna run this, right? And don't type anything as of now, right? I'm gonna show you guys a few things here. Now, if you pay attention here, it says counting objects, 700 done, delta compression, and all of that stuff, compressing source files. Now, in when we run this command, we are sending our code on Heroku, right? Our code cannot be deployed on Heroku until Heroku has our code, right? So we are using Git as a medium to share code with Heroku, all right? Now, as we can use Git and all of that stuff to share code with each other, we are using Git as a medium to share code with Heroku too, right? And it's gonna install binaries, whatever is needed. It's gonna install the node version, and it's also installing all the dependencies. And when I say dependencies, it's actually node modules, right? Heroku already realizes that you have a package.json file in your project, all right? And it already knows that it needs to do npm start, npm install to install all the dependencies, right? And it says installing any new modules, found zero vulnerabilities, it has installed everything, right? And once all of that is done, build successful, right? And all of that. So it says this application has been deployed to Heroku. Now Heroku has our code on their server, and now Heroku, deployed our Node.js application, right? Now, if I go back to my diagram here, if you remember, I said, hey, we have two parts to do, right? One part is to have our Node.js application, right? And now this part is done, right? My code is with Heroku. Heroku has done npm install, npm start, and all of that for us, all right? Um, but what we do not have is our database yet, right? So we need to have our database working, and then our entire application would start working, right? So we are done with, like, let's say half of the stuff logically, but whatever we need to do, the rest is, relatively quick. Okay, any questions so far? Any doubts? All right, so I'm gonna go back here. So now we are going to configure our database. All right, we are going to use this command to, first of all, so all the databases and everything are add-ons on Heroku, right? So we have pushed our application, but we need to use, a add-on, which is going to be our database, right? Now, ClearDB is a company which provides MySQL databases, right? So if I just Google Heroku, um, Heroku MySQL, right? It's showing me this elements. Okay, all add-ons, right? These are all the add-ons that Heroku has, right? And one of the add-ons that we are going to use is ClearDB. All right. Now, ClearDB is not a different kind of DB. This is a company which is providing MySQL implementation, a high-speed database for your MySQL powered application. All right. It starts at $0 a month, so we don't have to pay anything for it. All right. We are going to use Ignite version, which is entirely free. All right. But you would have to put in your credit card. All right. Because as soon as we are going to run this command, Heroku add-ons, create ClearDB Ignite, I can send this command to everyone, right? It's going to ask you to put in your credit card. I would say run this command and then see if it asks you to put in credit card. And if it does, you would have to put in your information. You're not going to get charged because whatever we are using so far is entirely free. And here it says creating ClearDB Ignite on application free. All right. Someone
Do
said
we do
no.
the
It's
push master command?
yes, yes. You have to do git push Heroku master. Right? This is how we would be able to verify that everything with Node.js application is working fine. And once you do that, then you need to create this add-on. All right. Now someone said no card. All right. If it didn't ask you to put in a card, good for you. But if it said, please verify your account to install this add-on plan, please enter a credit card, then you would have to go on that link. Oh, I'm not sure. Is it mandatory to put a credit card or do they just want you to verify it? You know what? Before you put in your credit card, I would say click on that verify link that you get and see where it takes you.
So accounts and billing.
Yeah, okay. If it took you there, you would have to put in your credit card.
But
And you know what?
are you
Yeah,
sure this is will not? If you, I think for free they will give like kind of limited. I don't know, 5
limited
meg or
resources.
something. Yeah, 5 meg. But in case like your application, like whatever, you don't know what you did and you need extra. Is it by default will increase it and you will be charged?
No, I don't think it works that way on Heroku. Um, because we are using Ignite plan here, and I don't think they upgrade you automatically. And even for the application, resources. I can actually check if there's a way to make sure that you won't be charged. How to make sure? Because in Google they ask you for put in your credit card, but they don't deduct money as until you say, hey, um, I want to start my billing account.
So we need to do this, right? We have to put our credit card and everything now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I can check my billing. Yeah, just to be on the safe side, you can shut down your application right away. Right? If you're concerned about getting charged, I think the best way to make sure that that doesn't happen is that once we deploy, once we make sure we understand how deployment works, you can delete the application, right? To make sure there won't be any, extra usage.
Okay, so where we have to go, because that one, it's to manage our billing and accounts. It's just from that link.
To verify that account, to put in the credit
Yeah,
card,
yeah.
yeah, just click on that link that you see in the terminal.
Yes, there. And then it's an account and billing.
Yeah,
We have to add a credit card.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
What should we do after entering all the information of our credit card?
So you need to run this command to add a database.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, have you selected Canada from countries? Right. No problem. So if it says that the database has been created for you, give me a yes, right? If the database has been created for you, if you see something like this, where it says that the database has been created for you, give me a yes. This one, Heroku add-ons, create ClearDB Ignite. Here we are telling Heroku that we want to create an add-on, and the name of the add-on is ClearDB, and we want the Ignite plan, which is for free.
After that, can we remove credit card?
So yeah, once we do the installation, once we check everything's working fine, you can remove the credit card and you can even stop the application.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Right. And if you would just like to see how it works, if if you don't want to put in your credit card, you can keep it that way, right? There won't be any evaluation based on this hosting, right? because I understand your concern regarding the credit card and regarding unknown charges. So if you're not comfortable putting in your credit card, you can leave it that way, and maybe you can just see how it's done, right?
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Someone said you must downgrade all the dinos to free and remove all the add-ons, free and paid, for the apps listed below before you can remove your credit card. Free Postgres add-ons do not need to be removed. Right. So our dinos that we are using are already free. You can check that here. All right. So if we go to resources, you're going to see it says free dinos, right? We are not going to change the dino type. We are going to keep using the free ones. And you would have to remove all the add-ons. That's right. But that's why I'm saying we are going to delete the application before we remove the credit card. All right. We're going to remove the application from here. And if you want to remove the application, it can be done in settings here, delete app. Right? And it says that Postgres add-ons do not need to be removed. Yeah, so if we use Postgres, we might not have to put in our credit card. And the commands are not too different, honestly. Your SQL commands are going to be exactly the same. The only thing we would have to change is the driver we have been using, and we would have to install Postgres. All right, but that's going to be some extra work, so we are not going to go that route right now. All right, but even if you go to overview, it's going to show you that installed add-on is $0 per month, and dinos are also $0 a month. Right, but I don't use this, so I'm not going to say I'm 100% confident that there would be no charges. I've never used Heroku before. I mostly use AWS. Okay. Is there anyone who wants me to wait? Is there anyone stuck with anything? Anyone who wants me to wait? Okay. Let's move ahead. So now we have created an SQL connection. Now, next we are gonna check, we have created a new SQL installation, but we need to check what the username is, what the password is, what is the host as well, right? So we are gonna do Heroku space config, all right? And it's gonna give us a connection string, right? This is a connection string. I'm going to open this up in notes.
Excuse me, what we have to run? Heroku?
Space config. Heroku space config.
Okay.
Right, it should give you a connection string like this. Right, you have to do it in the command line wherever we have been running commands in the folder of your project. And you have to do Heroku config. Right, once you do Heroku config, it's going to give you a connection string. Right, the connection string should look something like this. Right, and this connection string contains all the information we need. It contains the username, it contains password, right? It contains username, password, host, right? And it also contains the database that's been created for us. Right, so information after this forward slash link, information after forward slashes until this colon is basically your username. right? And information between the colon and at is your password, right? And information between at and forward slash is your host, right? And information between slash and question mark is your database, right? I want you to break down the information like this in a notepad, in notes, wherever you keep your stuff. If you have this broken down, give me a yes. If you do not get this clear DB database URL when you do Heroku config, that ideally means that your this add-on did not work. Right? Make sure you did Heroku add-ons create clear DB ignite. Right? If you do not get the URL that I get here with the database, that ideally means maybe you put in the credit card information, but you forgot to add, um, create the add-on for the database. Right? There are two ways to check if your database was created or not. First way to check is doing a Heroku config and actually seeing a connection string here. The other way to check is to go to the dashboard on Heroku, and in overview, you're going to see it shows me installed add-ons, and then it also shows me the add-on that we have created, ClearDB MySQL, right? So two ways to check if your database was actually created or not, right? And once you have your string, you need to break down username, password, host, and database the way I have here, right? If you have your username, password, host, and database broken down like this, give me a yes. We have 10 people who are done so far.
Sorry, I think I got the installed add-ons.
Yeah.
After that,
Mhm.
okay, no, go back. No,
Do,
no, that's fine. I got that. Yeah, I got the
do
link.
Heroku space config.
Yeah, I
Oh,
got
you
the
got
link
the
to.
link?
Yeah,
Okay. Just take that link and
yeah.
I have, I'm using notes here.
Okay.
So everything between these two forward slashes and the colon, this is username,
Oh, okay, 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 okay.
all right? You know what? I can actually type in the format here. MySQL colon slash slash, right? And first you have username, and then you have colon, then you have password, then you have add, then you have your host, then you have a slash, and then you have your database, right? And everything after a question mark is params, which we are not interested in that as of now. Right? This is also known as connection string. We have 11 people who are done so far. Make sure you have all the values with you: username, password, host, and database.
Should be with the same naming convention. Let's say first letter is capital.
Sorry, say that again.
It should be in the same naming convention you are using. First letter capital, or never mind.
Oh, but this is just for you. We are just gonna need these values here,
Okay.
right? This my notes did it for me, but it doesn't change anything.
I thought
This
you will
is
use it. You will use it as it is in the database file.
yeah, we would. But I'm not gonna copy paste it. I'm just gonna copy these values.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone who wants me to wait or anyone facing any issues? Okay. If not, what we are going to do is exactly what you were expecting. We are going to use this value in our db.js file. All right. Here we have host, user, password, and database. We are going to take our host value here, right? I'm going to copy this, and now I'm going to use the value of host here. All right. Next thing is user. I'm going to take the username, copy it, take it back here, right? And then the next thing is password. I'm going to take this password from here, copy it, put it in here. And then I have database. I'm going to take that value, copy it, paste it here. All right. And I'm going to save the file. So I'm going to update all the database connection variables. All right. Once I do this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to push my new changes, right? Because Git is going to say, hey, these are new changes, right? So if I do git status, it's going to say that I have modified my db.js file, right? I need to push this new changes. For that, I need to do a git add dot, right? To add all the files that I need to send. Then I need to make a commit, right? And I'm gonna say git commit dash m. Here I'm gonna say update db file, right? Once I'm done with this, I'm gonna push all of these changes to Heroku. I'm gonna send these new changes to Heroku server through Git, all right? Git push Heroku master. So this is gonna send all the changes, and Heroku is gonna do npm install, build the entire project from scratch for me.
Heroku is the origin, right? And master is our local branch, right?
Yes, master is the branch, and Heroku is the, you can call it origin, you can call it remote, you can call it a Git server, but
Okay.
yeah.
Can you cycle through the commands?
Yes. Let me send it in the chat. So you do, it capitalizes everything, but can I add a code snippet here? Oops. Anyway, you can do a git add space dot, all right? This is to add everything in your folder, all right? That needs to be sent. Then a git commit dash
You cannot
m.
see. You cannot see.
Oh, I'm sending it in the chat. Look at your chat message. And then the next is git commit dash m. And you can type in any message you want. Let's say I'm going to say update db file. Once you're done with the commit, then we are going to push it to Heroku using git push Heroku master. Git push Heroku master. Right? You would have to get used to these commands. And you know what? You guys remember I push my code every day to GitHub, right? I use exactly these commands, like exactly these commands. I'm actually going to show it to you. History grep git. I don't have it here, but this is what I do. I do git add dot ampersand ampersand, which means nothing but, hey, once you are done with this, run the next command, right? And then I do git commit dash m, and then here I'm always saying day 4 or day 5, right? And then here I'm doing a git push, right? And if you see, our commands are exactly the same. We are doing a git add dot, which is like, hey, add everything in the folder, and then you make a commit and you provide a message for the commit. And then at the end, you just push your changes, right? And that's exactly what we are doing here. We are adding those changes, we are making a commit, and then we are pushing those changes, in this case to Heroku. And in my case, I push those changes every day to GitHub.
Just correct me if I'm wrong. When we put get pushed by default, you will push to the remote master, let's say, right?
Um, not the first time, but eventually, yes.
So we don't need to mention where we are pushing, but if we have, like, let's say, a branch, another branch locally, even.
Mhm.
So, and I want to push to a remote branch, not the master also. So here I have to mention where I'm pushing, right?
Right. Yes. By default, when you only mention master, let me show you something. You see here, when I pushed everything, it says a master, and then it has an arrow, and then it also says master,
Yes.
right? This is Git's way of saying that master branch on your local system has been pushed to master branch of origin or remote, right? So we have a copy of master on our local system, and Heroku maintains the same branch on his server too. So we have our master branch and Heroku has his master branch.
And when we want to push, let's say, not to the master branch, let's say we have a branch there and I have to
Yeah,
update it before to merge it to the master. So in this case,
right.
I have to mention when I am pushing. Otherwise, it will push to the master directly, right?
Right. It won't push to master directly because the first time we make any push, we connect the branches, right?
Okay.
So even if in this case, if I just do git push, right, and git push Heroku in this case, all right, I can mention upstream. So this is what, if I'm working on this project on everyday basis, I would do this. I would say git push Heroku master, but I would also say set upstream. All right. What this does is it connects my master branch on my local system to the master branch of remote. If you see, it says branch master set up to track remote branch master from Heroku. And now I could simply do a git push and it would automatically push to the master branch of Heroku. So there's no easy answer to your question. Um, so on everyday basis, what we do is we work on our branches, and if we want something to be merged into master, we push our branch. All right. So we would do git push Heroku, and rather than master, we would, I would push my feature branch. Right. The name of the feature branch could be products APIs, right? And I can push this branch and on, obviously Heroku is not for code sharing, but if I'm pushing this on GitHub, you generate a pull request, all right? Which is a
Exactly.
person saying, hey, I have done my feature and now please merge my code into, um, staging or production or master or whatever branch name you use.
So in this case, by default, even if there is no branch created there, it will be kind of create a branch
Yes, it would, when we
remotely.
do git. Yes, when we do a git push Heroku master, all of you must be able to see this thing here, and a master branch is automatically created on the remote.
And even if I push, let's say, my feature, what you did in this case, it will be create kind of pull request with a branch, right?
So it won't create a pull request. Um, uh, Again, there are two scenarios. In case of Heroku, there's no concept of pull request and all of that,
Not
right?
not
Because
Heroku.
again,
I'm saying about Git, for example, and GitHub. We are
right.
pushing on GitHub
So if we push on GitHub, I would simply do a git push origin, right?
origin.
Let's say if GitHub is my origin, and then
Yeah.
I could provide my branch name, which could be my dash APIs. When I push this, a pull request is not going to be generated automatically. You have to go to GitHub for that, right? And let's say web services, and then this here pull request, you say, hey, I want to generate a new pull request and I want to merge you would see your branch name here, and you would select the branch in which you want to merge, main or master or whatever, and here you would select your branch. And it would also show you the comparison of code. It would show you what kind of changes you have done between the master and between your branch.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Okay. So we have pushed our code. Now we have our Node.js application. We have our database set up. The only thing we need to do now is to create our tables and enter the basic data that we usually enter, right? Sorry. Now, do you guys remember when we were doing MySQL and Workbench? I told you guys, hey guys, Workbench is just visualization of MySQL, right? And it's perfectly possible without a problem to not use Workbench and do everything that we are doing. Do you guys remember that? Now that's exactly what we are going to do because we do not have Workbench on that platform. We would be creating tables and doing all of that using our command line. All right. Now to do that, first thing you need to do is you need to be able to do MySQL dash dash. Uh, um, you know what? I would have to look for MySQL. In my case, let me quickly look for it. So this is where my MySQL is installed. I'm going to use this path. This path is not in my path variables. And then I'm going to do a dash dash version. Permission denied, sudo, command not found. Ooh, that's weird.
Actually,
MySQL
I, I,
dash.
I run it. I run it inside the application, and it's recognized that MySQL.
Yeah. Yeah,
So never
problem
mind.
with
I
my
think.
case is that my account that my Mac account that I use, that I'm using right now is a secondary account. This is not the main
Okay.
account. But still weird. I used it yesterday. It worked. Um, user local MySQL. Oh, I think it was in bin. Yeah, my bad. Local bin. User local MySQL. Right, in bin, I have MySQL. Right. Now that's for me, all right? This is very specific to my system. But if you guys do MySQL space dash dash version on the terminal, check if you are able to do it. Check if you see a version number, all right? Because we need to connect our MySQL with, with that server installed MySQL, right?
I
So
can't.
check. Well, okay, what error do you get? The term MySQL is
Because
not
it's
recognized as the name of the
exactly.
command.
Yeah, the term MySQL is not recognized.
Du- 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 du. Okay. Okay, let me try something else. Let me see if we are able to connect using Workbench. I think that would be the easiest for everyone, right? Because I go to the home page, new MySQL connection, right? Let me give it a try. I've never connected it before, but shouldn't be difficult because it's the same parameters. So this is our host name, port number. This should be fine. Username is this. This is the password, right? And once we have the password, just gonna put in the database, right? Um, Heroku MySQL test connection. working. All right. Okay, this would be easier for you guys for sure. Yeah, works. Um, okay, so this is what you can do. You can create a new MySQL connection by, first of all, clicking on the home icon. All right, please follow side by side. Click on the home icon here. You are going to see this page. Then click on this plus button here, all right, which says add connection. When you click on that plus button, you're going to see this pop up, right? Add all the parameters, right? Update the host name, username, password, and default schema, right? Update it with the values that you have in your string parameters here, right? That we just fetched. If you are able to establish a connection, give me a yes. I know it's time for lunch break, but we are very close. It's going to take a few more minutes, right? And then we'll take a lunch break. We're about to finish this. If you are able to establish a connection, and if it opens the SQL editor for you like this, right, uh, you're good to go. You can start
Sorry,
running your MySQL commands here. Yeah.
excuse me, for default schema, we should add the database.
Sorry, say that again, please.
For default schema, should we
Yeah,
add
you need to add
database?
your database. Yes. Yes, that's right.
And for the port, we should add the link, the host.
I'll actually show no port. You need to leave as it is. Right. I'll
Okay.
actually show you. I'll actually show you values filled up in it so that it's easier to compare. This is the username. Username goes in, needs to go into username. And then we have host name. This needs to go in host name, right?
Okay.
And then our database needs to go into default schema, and password needs to go in keychain, or if you have Windows, maybe you see a text box or something.
Okay. And
So it's
the
done.
connection name.
Anything, just put in whatever you want. Heroku, MySQL, or whatever you want.
It's done its play.
Yeah, if you do okay, and if it connects you to MySQL, you have made a connection from your local computer to MySQL installed on Heroku's servers. Right now we have a proper connection, and now we can. Mhm. Yeah, once you're done with that, you can start executing your MySQL commands. You can create a table. All right, you do not have to create a database. All right, you do not need to run these two commands, because the database was created for us automatically, and it's in default schema here. We also provided this database, so we do not need to run these two commands, but we need to create um, the table, we need to add primary key and all of that, and we also need to insert these values. Anything, yeah, you can say Heroku MySQL, let's say. Yeah, once you do this, you click on OK, and you're going to see this, right? It's going to open the SQL editor, and I'm going to create tables with you guys. I'm just going to copy all of this, right? Again, we do not need to create the database. We don't even need to use it. It's already created for us, right? We're going to run all of this. I'm going to run all the commands at once, right? And yeah, everything is inserted for us. Everything is done, right? Now our application, go back here, right? Now we have data in our database, all right? Um, we have updated these values. We have pushed our changes. We have created our table. Um, we don't need to test it on our local system. We are fine. We just need to run this command to actually start running our server. All right. We need to run Heroku run and then actually whatever command we want to run, which in our case is not going to be this. All right. The command in our case is going to be something like this: Heroku run node space node space slash bin and then oh, www, right? The command with that was in our npm start, right? I'm gonna run this. Node space name of the command. Uh, wait a minute. Cannot find module bin ww. Oh, wait a minute. Hoku, right? You know what? npm start should do the trick.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
I cannot run MySQL commands. It says that no database selected.
Okay, okay, if that's what it says, you can do what we used to do before, which was, oh, it doesn't give me all the schemas. That's weird.
Yes, it shows empty for me as well.
Okay, in that case, you can use this command where you say use, but put in the database that we are using, all right? So you're gonna say use, but you are gonna use.
It says that this database doesn't exist.
Oh, this database that you got from your connection string?
Oh, I was putting the old name. Okay.
So you need to use the database that MySQL created for us.
Okay, I'll try now. Thank you.
Right. So run this command and then all of that should work fine. Maybe you did not put anything in default schema. That's why it's happening, but it's super fine. Not a problem. Okay, I'm still getting an error. Connections, the server closed the connection. All right, this is okay. All right. When you run the command Heroku run npm start, it's going to tell you, it's going to give you an error, but the error should precisely be this: the server closed the connection. Is it working for you? Yeah, okay.
So just Heroku run npm start, or the previous one we have to run it also?
No, you just need to run this, that command. You don't
Heroku
need
run
that command.
npm. Okay.
Yeah, just Heroku run npm start.
Sorry. So I was able to connect to a Heroku from the workbench.
Yeah.
I was able to create my table and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, when I did refresh, it just disappeared. So what I did was I stopped it and I restarted my
Mm-hmm.
workbench,
Mm-hmm.
tried to reconnect.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like it's reconnected, but I don't see anything in the schema.
Oh, on the left-hand side?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's because we are connected to a remote MySQL. That could be a reason.
Okay.
But you still should be able to do select star from heroes. What was the table
Yeah.
name?
Yeah. I'm able to see it. When I do select star from my
Yeah,
superheroes, it's there. You just don't see anything on the
superheroes.
site.
Yeah, that's because we are running it. We are connected to MySQL on uh, on Heroku. This MySQL is not on our local computer.
Oh.
So there might be some restrictions on that.
Okay. Okay. So we'll assume it's there.
No, but
Okay.
there is something weird because I was able to see it and now not. So it's
Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw
there
it
is
before
something
too.
weird. There is something weird.
yeah, very possible. It's a remote connection.
I keep getting an error, can't create database.
Because you are not, you
Don't
do not
create.
need to create a database. It already created one for us here, right?
Okay,
So we need to use this database here. We do not need to create our own database.
okay, everything else worked.
For me, the query is not resolving. Nice.
Yeah, mine too. It just keeps on.
Yeah, that's the reason I
I
like command line.
actually after I run it from the command line, it's fine there, but here in Workbench, it's throwing errors.
Errors? What kind of errors?
It's get the schema, get the schema tab. I don't know, error code 2013, lost connection to my SQL server during query.
Okay.
And there is something weird in the side. It's refreshing by itself, fetching table, doing try to fetching table. Then it's
Mhm.
trying to fetching something, but I think there is an
Not
error.
able to.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's repeating.
Yeah, even for me, it stopped responding. Workbench,
Sorry, what was the command?
MySQL.
Heroku run npm start to check.
Yes, Heroku run npm start. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Sending it to everyone. Oh, copy this. No, we don't need to run that. I know I ran this command here. You don't need to run that. Yeah, npm start is fine. It's going to take care of the proper location for us, right? Okay, now let's see how we can fix this error. So even in the blog, it says it's a common error. The server closed connection. And to fix this error, we would have to create a pool, right? And it's something simple. We are going to go to our db.js file, right? And where we create our connection, rather, we are going to create a pool, all right? And so it's going to be MySQL dot, rather than creating connection, we're going to say create pool, all right? Nothing else is going to change here. And we do not need these lines where we do a dot connect, right? I'm going to show it to you guys. And you know what? Git actually is pretty cool to show the difference. So git status, git diff, right? This would give you exactly what I removed and what I created, right? Right. Once I do my changes and once I save these changes, how do I push these changes to Heroku? How do I push changes from my local system to Heroku? Right. So, right, exactly. So we get add all the files that we need to send, we make a commit, and then we push it to Heroku. It's a three-step process, right? And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a git add all the files, right? And then I'm going to do a git commit, and I'm going to say update db file. You can put whatever message you want, and then I'm going to do a git push Heroku master, right? So this is going to push all the changes for me. Right? Once it is done, now I'm going to see if my project runs fine. All right, it's working fine, right? No problem. And here, it also gave me the link where my application was deployed. So I'm just going to copy this link, right? I'm going to go to my Postman, and I am going to change the URL from localhost 3000/heroes to the URL that I got /heroes. I'm going to send a GET request, and there you go. Right now, our backend is hosted and is working fine. So these APIs could be used by any front-end application now. Right, I'm going to show it to you guys here. Right, I did a git add space dot, then I did a git commit -m, updating the files, and then I did a git push. Someone already sent these commands. Thank you. I'm just going to copy paste this to everyone. All right. This is how I sent my updated changes. These changes that I did in db.js file, I have sent all of these changes of mine uh, to Heroku by running those three commands, right? And when you do that, it's going to give you the link here. Either you can get the link here, or you can go to your Heroku dashboard and settings. You can find it here in domains, right? Settings and then domains.
I have an issue.
Yeah, go ahead. What is it?
It's connecting fine when I run Heroku run npm start,
Mm-hmm.
right? After pushing and updating Heroku,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's running fine.
Mm-hmm.
Then after 1 minute will be switch off, let's say disconnect. And I don't have this too. What do you have here? I don't have all this remote.
Okay, we would have to look at your screen for that.
Okay.
Someone said I updated to create pool and I did Heroku run npm start. Okay, when you do your create pool and when you remove these lines, I have commented these lines, you need to push your changes. I have sent those three commands. You do a git add dot, you do a git commit, and then you do a git push. Then Heroku receives your code. And once Heroku receives your code, then you need to run Heroku run npm start. All right. So step
I think
number one,
I
make
think I
changes
have.
in db.js. Yeah.
I know what's my issue. I did everything, but I didn't say the DB.
Sorry,
Okay.
your voice was breaking. Scroll up a little bit.
Okay.
I can't see your file.
Okay. I
Okay, connection breaking too much. Can't hear you.
Excuse me, Akash.
Yeah.
I had to restart my laptop. I couldn't get my connection with the workbench. It
Okay.
still gives
uh,
me an error.
Okay, too much going on right now. Just give me a minute.
hello.
Khalid, there was some connection issue when you were talking.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there was a connection issue. Yeah.
Okay, but were you
No,
able to
but I
figure out
think
what the
that
problem was?
I will see because I think I forget to save that DB file. I will do it
Yeah.
again and I will check it. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Um, yes, Mazame, you were saying that you were able to make a connection on Workbench, or you were not able to?
I'm not. It says the connection failed because just give me an window, pop-up window
Mhm.
that check your connecting in the URL and everything, but I couldn't get it work.
Okay. Why don't you share your screen and we'll have a look where the problem is.
Okay, perfect.
And in the meanwhile, I'm going to clear all the feedback right now. Guys, if you are done with this, if your API is working in Postman, give me a yes. All right, I have cleared the feedback from before. If your API is working in Postman, give me a yes. 4 people so far. All right. Okay. Does it show an error after this page?
Yes, after
Okay,
a
let's
little
cancel
while.
this. Let's
Okay.
cancel this. Okay, where's your connection string that we got from Heroku config?
It's in the file. It's here. I have it. No, this one.
Right, okay, let me quickly check. FDAC, DC, all right, this looks right. USAPR East. Heroku. Okay, this looks fine. All right, let's go to your workbench.
I
Okay.
create 2 of them, but with different names, and none of them are working.
All right, let's create a new connection. Let's see. Let's create a new one right now.
Okay.
Right, let's add all the values. All right, do a test connection. Don't click OK. Do a test connection.
Oh, okay.
This should tell us if there is any problem. If there is any problem, we don't even need to create this entire connection.
Okay.
No response yet?
No, nothing.
Okay, meanwhile, let's go to your terminal.
Okay.
Right, we are in the right project. Let's do a Heroku config. Yeah, click on that. right, let's make sure the values are right. BDAC 60F DC password USEDBR East. Okay, weird. Everything seems fine here. Did you get any response from test connection?
No, nothing.
Okay,
I
let's
have a
try to
problem.
copy. Yeah.
I have a problem with Workbench. I think whenever I want to connect to the server, it's really make me mad. I don't know why.
Okay, let's try to copy those values. I mean, I can use those values connected on my workbench and try it for you. Send me
Okay,
those
fine.
values.
Okay.
That might be a quick fix for now. Send me the entire connection string to me in the chat.
Okay. And,
This way, at least we would know if the problem is
it
with your
says
workbench
failed to
or with the
connect.
MySQL.
Okay, it says failed to connect to MySQL at you that the address unable to connect. Just this. Can
Yeah.
you see the
Okay.
pop-up window? Yeah.
Yeah. Let's close this. Send me the connection string, and I'll try it on my system.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
It's open the page, but give me method not allowed. Just.
Oh, you don't need to go it on the browser. You need to use that URL and make an API request.
Okay.
Right. So rather than using localhost 3000, we are going to use the URL of that API.
Where I can find this URL?
When you do you can find it in your dashboard, inside settings, in domains.
Okay, thank you.
You can find it here, or when you do a git push, you can find it there too. It's gonna give you the URL here. Works on browsers too. Yes, GET request should work fine. Okay, I'm sharing my screen, right? Yeah.
In the browser though, it'll just show one line, right? An array.
Yeah, it's only gonna be possible for you to see the GET request. You won't be able to make a post request through the browser, right?
Yeah. But it just shows an array. It just goes straight across one line, split across however many lines as it wraps around.
Yeah, not formatted at all, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Are we on lunch now?
Good question. If your APIs are working, yes, please go on lunch break. Take your lunch. All right. It's already 12:30 p.m. You know what? Let's all take lunch break. I know some of you are facing issues on your system. We'll resolve it after lunch, right? Let's get some energy to work on this. Right? Let's get back by 1:10 p.m. Right? You guys can go on lunch break. Mozame, I'm gonna try your connection string, right now.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
This is the host password. Asking for password again. Okay. Yeah, it's working fine on my system. So the problem for you new, oh, I didn't give it a name. All right, so the issue seems to be with your workbench. And I've made the connection, and you know what? I'm gonna create the table and everything for you for now, right? So that at least you're able to move ahead. All right, so I'm gonna go here, create the table, enter those values. Right, there you go. Right, I have connected to your MySQL, and I have created the tables and inserted values in that SQL connection. But now you should be able to run everything else, right? You should be able to make changes to your db.js file, right? Update db.js file, save it, commit and push changes to GitHub, and then run the server on Heroku. Oh, I think we lost our email.